What's up, gang? This is Matt from Matty Mo's Arcade. I'm here at King Cade. This is where I'm working at this month anyway. I got Steve with me. I'm going to take him a walk through and show you guys what I've got going on so far. There was about 10 games that worked out of 60 or 70 when I first got here a month ago, and I think we have got it to about 10 games that don't work now. Some of them are plugged in, some of them still need a little bit of work, like power supplies and stuff like that, but we're getting pretty close. Opening day is Wednesday. Stick around. All right, we do have light this time. So we're just going to start here and go around the room kind of in order, and I'll tell you what happened with each one. This one has been working the whole time that I've been here. I've adjusted the monitor. Every monitor in here needed some sort of adjustment or another. This one still has like a graphics glitch in the background. It's not real bad, so considering where we've been and what we've gone through, that is just going to sit for now, and I'll address it later if they want me to. This one, the monitor image is upside down, and we can flip that with some dip switches. That's no big deal. In my previous videos, if you go to my channel, you can see I battled this thing a little bit. The previous owner put in a credit button, you can see here, and he wired the switch wrong. And so it kind of thought that there was a coin stuck in there or the switch was stuck and the game wouldn't process. So I got that fixed, figured that out, which was fairly easy if you know what you're looking for, or you just happen to find it, kind of like I did. I got the game going. The monitor didn't look this good. It had no blue. So the same thing was going on with it. The monitor image was upside down. So flip the image, put the monitor in the right place, had the blue come up. As soon as I got this blue going, I walked around the game, and I didn't even get it on video for myself or my own channel. I was like, oh, it looks so much better. And then it just died a very peaceful death. I've never seen a flyback just kind of wilt away. So luckily, a local guy, a collector, helped us out and tossed us this monitor. So we're hoping to finish that up tonight or tomorrow. All right, so the next one we have is Bionic Commando. This one was another dead one, or kind of like an unknown. I was able to get it up. Most of this stuff was just meaningless wiring or loose connections on power, dead power supplies, stuff like that. So I was able to get it up, spend a little while adjusting it, and it looks pretty good. It kind of looks like it's really out of focus here in the middle, and it's like this glass or this plexi that's on here. It's almost like got heat damage or something from it, and so it needs to be replaced, but it works. POW is one that I haven't had to do anything on other than a little minor adjusting on the monitor. And nothing is exactly where I want it to be on opening day. I think I'm going to stay overnight the night before and just adjust monitors all night. Frogger was I think one of 3 games that looked great when I got here. I could move the image left and right a little bit to my taste, but the monitor was crisp. It was on. It worked. Everything was fine with this one. I don't see any green on it at the moment, but I think it was okay.
Has it ever been capped?
I don't know. I haven't even been in that one because it's been solid.
It looks so good. Why mess with it?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't have time. Zaxxon was one of the other ones. It looks like somebody put a reproduction overlay because it's so gorgeous. But the cab's in good shape. Usually when you see these, they're just like this thick with water damage.
You can kind of see it right there. It looks like somebody's put a new one on there.
Yeah, it looks good though.
Yeah.
Like I said, these things are usually so water damaged. But they are super great JAMA cabs because you can open it here. It folds out into your lap. You have like a little workstation, and you can work on the board, and the power supply and everything's right there. So as a JAMA cab or like a MAME cab or something like that, which I'd hate to give advice on those, but it's really great for swapping boards out and just, or even building a switcher or something. The downside of it is they're super, super heavy because they're usually full of water and moisture.
It's rare to see a Zaxxon that hasn't fallen apart.
Time Pilot, all we've done is just kind of wiped it down, and I've adjusted the monitor on this. I did not adjust the monitor on Frogger. I did on Zaxxon.
Does your Time Pilot have the Monroe joystick?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, it looks like it does.
Yeah,
awesome.
it's really rusty. I did go to mess with the colors on this one, and I stopped, and I ended up not doing it. They're okay. great. I'm not like happy with it, but it's okay. This one had jail bars. I've capped it. We can't find, there's a connector missing for the video that's laying around here somewhere that we're gonna have to find, but that's okay. And this one we didn't try yet because the other guy that works with me, Nate, was I think in the middle of this, wasn't he? It kind of looked like there was a lot of stuff unhooked, so we're just skipping it for tonight and we'll figure that out eventually. And the next is the Dungeons and Dragons. I've had all of these working on my channel. I've just been robbing Peter to pay Paul to see if they will work. This one is fine. It just needs a new power supply back here. I've adjusted it. It actually looks and plays great, so I'm not worried about this one. But this is where we start taking a turn, and the games are getting a little newer. We're in this row. We do have NBA Jam. It's working. The green drive, the transistor for it, it starts out great, and then as the game stays on, it just gets greener and greener and greener until I notice it, but everybody else thinks it like, oh my God, it looks awesome. It's so great. I'm like, are you sure? Like everybody looks yellow. This one has a very, very poorly done LCD conversion with a very cheap LCD, and it's at an angle so you can't see it. The Centipede works great. I just stole its outlet for my mobile command center over there. I don't know if you got that on camera.
No, I didn't, but we'll come back and we'll talk about that. It's quite a setup.
Do you want to stop here and we can go over to the skee ball side and walk through that room and then come back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we have skee ball or fireball, which usually people have ice ball, so that's cool. We have Defender. Defender works. I think I just didn't plug it in today, so that's all that's wrong with it. We got the Fast and Furious. They all have TVs installed. And they're basically, there's not anything that's wrong with them. Sometimes you have to turn them on by the remote, which is a pain, but we got a kid that'll, I think I need to go through and set the link and set, 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure all that's correct. And we may have a battery that's dead in one of them, Steve thinks. Off-road Thunder. Oh, well, let's just go ahead and talk about these. We have the Exotica, the World, and USA. This one I haven't had working yet, but the power supply is toast on it. So I'm either gonna try to rebuild that or we're gonna try to come up with some, we did borrow some from a buddy, another collector and operator. So we're gonna try to get that one up too. I don't think it's gonna be an issue once we get some power to it. This one I think is gonna have a flyback. I've adjusted this, made it look perfect several times, and it just drifts. We can put hot glue on it. That people do that. I don't like to do that. Now, if it's we'll look, and if it's a monitor where it's going to be tough to get the flyback, or if flybacks are hard to come by, then we'll just go ahead and hot glue it for now and set a replacement flyback on the inside. Nicktoons Racing had it would not power on. The monitor came on, and it was the same thing with a lot of these games that are getting to be about this age. The battery was dead inside of it. Do you remember, is this a PC, Steve? I think it is. So it was the battery on the motherboard of the PC. So the computer wouldn't even start up itself. So there was no game, and it just was kind of in action. Off-Road Thunder was a lot like Hydro Thunder. First, it didn't work at all, and then the monitor looked like it was just, I might as well just chuck it because the flyback had it blown out so bad. And it adjusted eventually. It looks a little blurry now. I need to sit down and really adjust. I know I got things, just good enough the other day. Ridge Racer, same thing. It was just power issues. I went through and fixed some wiring, connected, the power supply, or I don't remember exactly what on some of these I did. But it was another dead game that just needed power, or sometimes the on-off switch was disconnected, just unplugged, and it was laying at the bottom of the game, and we're trying to turn it on. And that happened to us in that game earlier today. This one I also have a video on. It's kind of a rare game, just as the production number isn't high. It came out around the same time as Sega Turbo, which I guess just was either overproduced or a better game and liked better. But the people that liked this game and played it seem to like it more. It's in really good shape. it seems like maybe, well, what I found out is, I don't know if you can see down in here, Steve, the power brick down here, a mouse got in, and you can see there's little bits of paper and stuff. Mouse got in underneath that transformer and that assembly and just chewed up some wiring, so we're not getting connection in there. So I'm just going to pull that, hopefully redo the wiring underneath there, and then that'll fix that.
Didn't kill him, did it?
I don't know, maybe. I didn't find them in there, but I found some mice in some of them. Let me walk around this dolly here. So as you can see, the farther we go and longer we go since this came on, it's just drifting farther and farther. And that's what it looked like when I first came in. It was just white.
I've seen several of them that do that.
This is another one that we have to get a power supply wired in. We had some movers come in and bring a game in, and they just sheared off the plugs out of the power supplies in the back of the games, just shoving them up against the walls and stuff. So if you guys hire movers to help you with the games, make sure you're there because they do not know or care. This is another game. This one came on and you just couldn't see anything on the monitor, and I was able to, like most of these, without pulling out my soldering iron, just spend about an hour adjusting on it. It's not great, but I fine-tuned it where I feel like it's acceptable.
That's a good looking cabinet. That's just really perfect.
That cabinet?
Very few blemishes on it. It's really nice.
Yeah, and they got lucky. They do have a lot of pretty nice looking cabs. Like even they got that one for $100, the Grand Champion. So I told them, hey, while I'm in town, buy every $100, $200 game on Marketplace. Every one. Like if it's complete, buy it. I'll fix it, and you'll have an extra one for cheap.
Now you're gonna have everybody on Marketplace hitting up them 102.
Hey, hit me up. That's how I make my money. Mortal Kombat 2. This one just needed a battery, and I think it still does because I think Steve said something about that when we were plugging it in.
Yeah. It wouldn't
Bad Dudes. It was dead. It was the monitor. We could hear Bad Dudes playing. It's playing right now, but I have it turned down really low. And I did a full rebuild on this. I don't think I had to change the hot on it. I think I changed the flyback and the caps that it needed. Not all of them. I don't change the caps if they don't need it. What?
Is that a K7000 in there?
That was K7000. And on video, I tried to swap in a different neck board without realizing that I was taking from a 19-inch and trying to put it on a 25.
Can't adjust that out, can you?
No. This one, I've capped this chassis also. Most of these monitors, I'd say 95% of them are K7000s. It's a few Sanyos in those Nintendo cabinets, and then there's like a couple other Wells Gardners and 2 G07s. But this guy, another K7000, it's in collapse, and I capped it. It was still in collapse. I'm going to come back to this one before we open. I'm putting off the stuff that's going to take me a little longer than normal. This one was another one they said to throw away the monitor basically or try to rebuild it. I didn't pull out a soldering iron, and look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the hobby that think that just because the monitor looks bad, the tube's gone bad, or it's time to chunk it. I would say 90% of the time you can save one.
I mean, I can tell really fast if I can save one. If the flyback's going, it's going. There's nothing you can do. But if it's still alive, it's not going to, hasn't taken the hot out. It hasn't blown a fuse. It hasn't done any damage. So you can change that fairly easily. But yeah, I think the first 2 days, or first 2 trips I had out here to Kansas, I never pulled out my soldering iron, and I probably made, half a dozen to a dozen monitors look like this that were, everyone said, and everyone I talked to needed a rebuild. Now it took me a while. Those, like this one, I really dialed in until I felt it was done. Some of them I got anal on, but usually when I got anal, it was because the convergence was off. And once I start on them convergence rings, it's like doing a little puzzle. I got to figure it out, which needs to be done on this one. Not necessarily convergence, but it's dim. It's also never been clean. So a lot of times when you get games and people are like, oh, it's dull or it's blurry and the flyback just won't fine tune the focus in. Take off the bezel, clean the inside and the outside of the glass, clean the front of the monitor. You'll be surprised. I've seen so many monitors look beautiful after just a wipe down. And this one very well could be that way.
Yeah, in case anybody's wondering, that's a Pandora's Box 4 in a Golden Tee cabinet. It's
Yeah, I just skip over that crap.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Over here, we have a Virtua Fighter cab in the old Die Hard style. This was another one that was dead, I think, and I don't like the colors on this. I'm going to cap it and then check the colors. Because I do have red, green, and blue. They just don't look like I want them to, and I'm not able to get the reaction out of the pots that I want. So I'm going to cap it, check the pots, all that good stuff.
That's
but
odd to see anything but Die Hard in that cabinet. You know?
I've been seeing them converted.
Yeah,
but
I know that they've got how many games? Like
I don't know why everybody hated them so much, just because they're plastic.
Yeah, well, there's that rumor going around that the company that make garbage cans built this.
Oh, whatever.
But, I mean, it's a great
I ain't listening to
cabinet.
that garbage.
Hey,
This one worked fine, police trainer,
if you run a route, that works perfect in a laundromat.
right? For a trash can. Police trainer worked just fine. I also dialed this monitor in where I thought it was perfect. And well, this was one of the games that the power supply just got raked right across the corner of a wall, and they ripped the plug out and broke the power supply off. The plug with the power supply in it. I don't know how I want to say that, but this buck hunter, no problems. The other buck hunter is we've traded it, and we can talk about these two over here. These are two that we also what was this game called, Steve? Xenophobe?
Xenophobe, yeah.
So this one, its final fight, it had the same problem. A mouse chewed its power supply. So we have it pulled and ready to go. This one, it pretty much, from what we could tell, it needed like a board, it needed a power supply, and it needed a monitor. So I just haven't even touched it. As far as I'm concerned, we're just going to pull that one in the back for now. Maybe throw something else in the cab if.
Hey, if you're in the Kansas City area.
No. It's already, the deal's been done.
Yeah, but he may want to let it go, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you can let him sell it. I'm not doing that.
I thought you were working for him now.
Yeah, but that ain't part of the deal. This is separate. All right, we have turtles here. Everything works on this except for it's got a really poorly done LCD put in. And you can use that. That would be fine if you centered it, I guess, and put a better bezel on it. So I'm going to do something, some arts and crafts, or get a better LCD for it.
My uncle built one for one of our arcades, built the exact cabinet, and he put a 32-inch television in it, and it went from side to side.
Right.
And then
That's the way the one at the neutral zone was.
Yeah, instead of expanding the picture out the whole way, if you let it just go to its original size, it looks like it's got a bezel around. It's pretty cool.
Right. So we have the Joust and Robotron. I don't know what. I think these are licensed, aren't they? I can't remember what the scoop is with this one.
I've seen them.
It's like the Galaga Miss Pac-Man that's up front.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen them. I know they
I thought they were licensed. I could be wrong. I don't know enough about that one to say. Area 51 and Maximum Force. You see these freaking everywhere. It's like, I think, the most popular gun game. You either see one or you see the other, or you see Sight 4.
This is like the Pac-Man of shooting games.
Right.
This and Lethal Enforcement.
And right next to it, we have another Maximum Force. This one works too. I just didn't have a way to plug it in over here in this corner. This one is, I keep forgetting the whole name. Super Space Fortress Macross. And it's got a little bit of fold over, it looks like. I've capped it, so we're going to see if it'll adjust out now. Maybe it's the width coil. It just needs to be adjusted. I'm not sure. This is another one that pooped the bed. Try to censor myself on Steve's channel. The right side looks fine. Looks like there's no green. And the left side worked fine too. And it looked like there was no blue. No, there was no red on the left side. And for whatever reason, the left side's not working. I assume it's a connection or something like that. Most of the stuff, when it stops working up here so far, has been easy. This is one I have not had to touch whatsoever. Robin plays it a lot, and as far as I know, it plays great, except for, she said, one of the guns is off a little bit, so we'll have to do some calibration. The monitor looks fine. Looks like we have all three colors. Maybe brighten the red a little bit, but it looks fine. This one is another one that I worked on the monitor for a long time. I also pulled this from dead status. There was no power. The game wouldn't boot. But but slowly got all that going. And then I noticed that the monitor was actually on, and the game was actually playing on the monitor. You just couldn't see it. And I got back there and turned up the brightness. Woo, ta-da! It looked like crap, but I was able to adjust it out, and it looks pretty good now. I'm happy with that one too. This is one that I was just talking about on another video of mine. Another collector has one of these. It looks like it's leaning, because it kind of is, because Nate made its own base and we don't have leg levelers on it yet. So it just kind of needs to be leveled. But he was looking at his monitor and I was looking at this one, and his is more red all the way through. And I was like, mine is red, but it doesn't look like that. And so we were trying to figure out if his was right or mine was right. So if you want to take a look at this in a screenshot, and then go to my last video where I walked through Ted's arcade and see his, and hear that awesome power supply, I'll walk back there so they can hear it. See if you can give me some slack here so they can hear this. It sounds like a bug zapper. I don't know. Hopefully they can hear that. So I got to replace that power supply just because that sounds crazy, like a fire about to happen. You know, good stuff like when you work in an arcade. This one, as you can see, we have life on the board. We do not have a game playing in the background, I don't think. I know we tried. And I do not think it's a one slot. I think it's a multiple slot. So we have options. We can try other slots. I'm hoping we can get something going there. But there is, some life. I don't know enough about Neo Geo boards to say that it's alive, but...
If it was anything other than a one slot, there would be a select button there. It doesn't look like there's one there.
Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't mean that it's in the right cabinet either.
That's true.
These things are kind of crazy. This one works fine, plays fine. This is one I've worked on a million times. I got a ton of videos about it. Usually the buttons stop working or something. I have a complete video on tearing one down and the complete insides of one. I just hate it when it gets turned on because it's copyrighted music and then my videos get flagged. This one's going in a trade. It's a Pac-Man turned into a 1942. It has a Wells Gardner K7000 in it. And the guy who wired in the 1942 board, he tried to plug the monitor straight into the wall. And it blew. There's two diodes that it blows when that happens. No, that's the G07. But it basically, yeah, there's it's still in that power supply section. Probably is diodes too. But so yeah, you're not supposed to plug those straight into the wall. They need to run through a isolation transformer. So make sure if your monitor does not have an onboard isolation transformer, you put one into your game and run your monitor through there. This is Turtles in Time. It works. I don't think it's going to stay in this cab. I think we'll go with Joust or something in this because this is a decent Williams cab. But the Turtles in Time board was in there, and this thing was on Marketplace and nobody wanted it. And I guess because it just said Turtles game with a D, people never saw it. They're probably selling it in the soap category.
Like turds?
Yeah, Turtles. And so...
I looked in earlier. There's no hole in the side of it. I wonder what that's for.
This?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like somebody laminated a piece of...
Is it a grate?
No,
it feels like speaker mesh. It is.
No, that's just got a texture on it.
No, I don't know what that is. That's weird.
It's crazy.
Like somebody kicked a hole in it and they just put that over it, I'm sure. Or it fell over into something. So we've gone through those. The Ultimate Arcade over there just needs a power supply, which we've got wired in and haven't tested that yet.
Yeah, hey, I believe that's everything. But before we get done here, let's walk around and show off this art.
Yeah, definitely do that. Well, I was just going to show the last four cabinets.
Oh.
The last four. This one here is just, it's actually what's in there, right? Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. And I actually thought they've been telling me that this was one game and it's actually this game. So I have to find the one that they've been telling me. And I haven't even plugged this one in because they've been telling me that it's the other one that worked. So that's not hooked up. So I don't know. That one's kind of a mystery. So tomorrow we'll get to figure out what's going on with that one. These are going to be like kind of like multi-caded. This one we're going to make into a Capcom bowling because we have all the stuff and just needed a cabinet for bowling. This one here is going to be like a Simpsons or a Turtles, or we're going to pick something off of Simpsons is what they chose. We're going to use like a Game Elf board and go that route for now until we can find a board. They're a little pricey. And this one here is going to be like WrestleFest or some kind of wrestling game. And we're hoping to, well, we had one kind of lined up, but Steve from Steve's Arcade, he bought one to make his little tiny one-up games look real. And so now we don't have that board, so we might go another route. But they're going to do a console corner over here. And I don't know, maybe it kind of looks like it's set up to do some kind of like Nintendo World Championship tournament or something. And I know they're going to do like Super Smash Brothers and that kind of stuff. But Anthony is the artist. He's awesome. He's willing to fly out to your arcade if you'd like some artwork. And if you're interested in my services, I will drive. I don't need to fly. I have too many tools.
I wonder what he'd charge to come down.
I don't know. It couldn't be too much. I mean, you pay for the flight and stuff, basically. I figured you'd really like this one.
You think he's going to fly down there?
No, not for your place, I guess, but
Mortal Kombat Dragon's pretty.
you could probably buy him a couple tanks of gas and cover that.
Here's Wolverine.
Wolverine.
He's got a few up front.
He said he didn't like this one. He said he was having a bad day that day.
What didn't he like about it?
I don't know. He just said he just wasn't happy with it. He said he thought he could do better. He said it didn't look enough like Wolverine to him.
It's like Wolverine to me. Better than I could have done.
It looks like Wolverine, but I understand what he's saying. He got a little too artsy with it or something. But yeah, that one's definitely, the green is way, way too high. But I haven't even tried it. Let's see, we want to show this one over here and then we'll go that way because there's more that way. We had the Nicktoons racing over here, which may or may not go back. It just didn't fit at the moment. And so that matched that.
That's what? Our Real Monsters or something like that?
And then I'll take you around over here. Ooh. Scared me. Then we come into Mario Land. And he just did a great job on these. Totally reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
And he's got the fireball that's on the wall, or on the divider in between the two.
Yeah, he's spitting at Yoshi, and Yoshi's about to throw that egg at him.
Yeah, and Yoshi looks tough, man. Then we go back even farther. Because
This one's really cool.
the arcade kind of grows up as you go through. So you start out in 8-bit land, and there's Galaga on the other side. I'll show you. And then you get to newer and newer games as you go around, which was kind of that was kind of my thought. Like when you walk in, you want to have all these classics and stuff because this is what people remember. This is what is.
We didn't talk about this one.
Alien versus Predator. This one I actually took a long time, and I guess I'm finally happy with it. The convergence was really, really far off. Like somebody tried to get this, and it was the wrong guy to hire to try to do this because he spun the convergence ring several times, and this one several times this way. So it was really, really unwound, and they're magnets. And they all affect each other, so it really has to be dialed in right. And when you just go back there and just start willy-nilly turning stuff, it makes it really hard to get back to where it was. And I had to guess sometimes, and luckily just got it. I don't know how. Eventually, sometimes it would look good, and then I was like, oh, I got to do one more time with that blue and spin it around one more time, and it would just be so drastically off. But then you dial it in again, and each time it got closer and closer. And this is as good as I could get it. But this was another monitor that I worked on. They said, throw it out, and we're going to LCD it. We are not LCDing things around here with Matty Mo.
Well, awesome. What about the pinball? Are you other tech working on those, or is that you too?
Well, I worked out the deal for him. Nate is here, and he is a pinball guy. And so he takes the initiative. He knows pinball, so he's grabbed the board out of that. This one, we didn't have to do anything to. It's just going to need to be shopped, basically cleaned. I think it had fairly new rubbers. So, but it was on route when we got it, so there's no issue there. And my buddy threw this in to the deal just because I wasn't getting a super great deal. It was just a good deal. So he threw this in for a super cheap price. It was an unknown. He got it in a bulk deal. And it turns out it was missing a display, a driver board, and one flipper, and a speaker that we know of so far. So we're going to put that stuff in, and Nate's kind of gone through it and checked it out, and we kind of think that maybe it'll fire up. So that'll be fun. And I think he's fixed or what he's working on the F-14 Tomcat is the typical battery damage. The batteries leaked on it and just corroded the whole bottom of that board. But yeah, the last thing I'll show you while we were talking about it is this Galaga art. And we can end it there. I know we're going to jump over in video from my channel and get some boards tested out. I'll show you this Galaga.
Yeah, this guy's got a talent.
Yeah, he's really good. And he's super cool guy.
Well, all right, Matt. Tell people where they can find you on YouTube.
My channel's Matty Mo's Arcade. You can find it easiest by just hitting mattymosarcade.com, and that link will take you straight to YouTube, and straight to my channel. I have over 500 videos about arcade repair, arcade walkthroughs, us hanging out as bros in the arcade and playing games, all the way down to just tech tips and how to take stuff apart, fix random stuff. So go check it out. Appreciate seeing you guys there.
All right, Matt. Thanks for the tour. See you, bud.
See ya.